Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. We'll be starting in just a minute while a few more participants join. Make sure your speakers are on and feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. So I will start with the introductions. Again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome on today's webinar hosted by AquaManager. My name is Eleftheria Biku, and I'll be your moderator for today. And we are very thrilled to have you here for our discussion. This session is going to explore how data-driven aquaculture practices can support compliance, improve transparency, and strengthen resilience. This topic, I think, as our guests are going to inform you, is becoming increasingly critical for the industry. Joining us today, we have two fantastic speakers. We have Tzohari, who will be leading the presentation and sharing real-world examples of how digitalization transforms compliance and performance. And we also have Florian Zuber, who will share his insights and experience from an auditing and risk management perspective. And I think together they will help us understand how data and traceability can build trust across not only the operational part of a farm, but throughout the entire value chain. Before we begin, quick housekeeping rules for today's session. Your cameras and microphones are going to be off. We don't want to have any technical issues, but please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A box at any time. We are going to address them at the end during the dedicated Q&A segment. And also, I would like to inform you that this session is being recorded, and we will share the recording and the key takeaways afterwards. So with that, I think we are ready to dive in. Nir, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Eleftheria, for the introduction and the opening. I'm very excited to be here, really. It's like second time we're doing it, and it's very exciting to see that so many people are coming to hear what we think is very interesting. So it looks like we're not the only one who thinks like this. I will share my screen with your permission, and I will go to presenters mode. And we will start to talk. So as Eleftheria mentioned, this is the topic that we're going to talk about, redefining farm performances, addressing aquaculture top challenges. And today we are going to talk about managing risks for smarter farming decisions. The main agenda will be using data for compliance and resilience. And the main idea that we're talking about is building transparency through traceability. Traceability is super important. And also we're going to mention how monitoring the important KPIs, the main KPIs in the aquaculture, will help you for proactive management of the farm. Now, those two topics are really big topics, but of course we are going to dig in and to talk about it in a much broader way. Allow me to start with a new definition of performances. We say that actually it's no longer just about growth, FCR, and yield, and growth, and all the regular KPIs that we use to talk about. We actually claim that now we also want to address the compliance and the transparency and the resilience, and those three pillars are those three actually branches are well builded on the main pillar of data collection, good high quality data collection, and all the very good data collection will support all of these three pillars for a better aquaculture, better performances, and beyond that, sorry, better transparency of the data that you have, better resilience, and much more appropriate way of taking care of your animals, taking care of your stock. Florian, do you have something to add here to this topic here, as we start?
I mean, as both somebody who's coming from aquaculture itself and as somebody coming from external as an auditor to a farm, I think especially the transparency part is very interesting. But I think in the coming slides we'll also go into the resilience part, which is which is a little bit how should I say that, extraordinary. So it's not what many people always think about first when we talk about data collection and software in aquaculture. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that discussion.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So we talk a lot about data collection, but how do you do it? And how do you do it in a reliable way? This is, I think, something very important when we come to talk about data. So I claim that actually you can collect data with paperwork, and you go around at the farm with papers and you write your things and you come back to the office. You can collect the data through mobile applications. You can collect the data with automatic sensors or machines that are located at the farm. The more sophisticated and automatic way you have to collect the data, you earn two things. First, of course, you earn a much higher level of reliability of the data for you as a grower. So you know that oxygen was between 3.5 and 6 throughout the day, and not only the one time you measured oxygen. And you know that you really fed this 256 kilogram of feed to this cage. And you know it because you typed it immediately after you finish feeding the cage, or the feeder typed it immediately after you finished to feed the cage, instead of writing it down on a paper, and then he's coming back to the office and the paper is wet and he forgot about it. And okay, today I know just about how much I fed the cage. It's not exactly. So as more sophisticated and digitalized that you go, the more reliable information that you will have. And that's why we say it's beyond the traditional performances. It's like the high importance of accuracy of data collection. And Florian, I think it's something that is very important to understand, how we are moving from paperwork to digitalization, and not only for medium, big farms, also for the smaller farmers.
I mean, I remember that even before I was a student, when I was at this guy having his own trout farm, and I was helping him on weekends or during vacation, and he was one of the guys, the owner, knowing how many trouts he stocked, knowing which feed he applied, when he applied it, and how much he applied it, and he didn't even need any paper sheets. Then moving upwards in my career and going to farms that have quite an amount of documentation that was necessary on a daily basis. Still paper-based, partly in the office into a desktop PC. And yeah, by that, I think I was very lucky to see that in the last 15 years to evolve, 10 years to move forward and see there also development, but not only for high-end top-notch farms, but also in smaller farms. Not even so much because they wanted that, but also partly because it was necessary to measure their performance, to be in alignment with any restrictions set by authorities, but also because they wanted it, because maybe they wanted to prove changes going on in their environment. They wanted to prove that their fish grow better. They wanted to prove that something goes wrong. And for this, you need data collection. I've made a quick note here because I figured out there is two ways of data collection. Actually, there is I would call it the passive way with your sensors. They do measurements 24/7 on the spot whenever you want it, and this is somehow very important for the management, or if you want to go back into your data collection series. And you have let's call it active data collection, what your employees do or the manager does, going around with the tablet, with the phone, checking something. And you can also use this to show that you're in alignment with the process. For example, you have done mortality collection, you have cleaned an outlet or an inlet, you've checked the oxygenation part or the emergency oxygenation. So by that, you can also reach different goals depending on which type of data collection system you use.
Yeah, so yeah, very interesting, because we both agree on the part that data collection is important, and as more digitalized the data collection is, that's how more accurate, reliable, and better it is for the farm. And again, not only for outside, also for the inside, for the managers, for the stakeholders, for the owners. So it's not something to underestimate, something very important as we see it. Now, how it really works. I mean, what we have is a data that flows from the sensors. So we can collect data in sensors, and we can see it on whatever platform that we have. Usually it will be some IoT platform that you will see it, whether on your phones, mobile phones, or in your computer, desktop computer, or whatever. This data, however it is collected, it goes to the matrices, and in the software, you collect all this information and you analyze it and you perform reports, and all of this information is now gathered into a single point of truth. This single point of truth principle is a super important principle as I see it, because once you work in that way, everybody knows, of course, on a need-to-know basis, everybody knows the same source of information. It won't anymore be in a way that, okay, this guy has his own spreadsheet, and the other guy will have his own data sheet. And usually it is very hard for those two sources to talk together, and you need to have something that will translate it. And this guy will think that this guy is telling half of the truth, and the other guy won't rely on this guy. And I've been there, done that. I mean, I know it might happen. I know that it's risky. And the most important reason as I see it, to go from multiple spreadsheets and multiple data sources to a software that encapsulates everything into one place is this single point of truth principle. Now, a good, accurate traceability and effective data management enables you a successful insurance claim after severe storm damage. And it's not just a sentence that is written here. It's coming from the real world, and whoever of you who was present in a farm that was suffering from a severe damage can probably understand how many investigates you are going with the insurance companies, and then the auditors will come and they will ask, did you do this and how did you do that and how do you know how many fish you had in the water, etc., etc. You see, Florian, this is something that I really think worth a good treatment.
I mean, it's not even what you mentioned, the crisis. I mean, everybody working on a farm understands that if you have, you call it here the single point of truth. Somebody else calls it maybe the chaos of the spreadsheets. I mean, most people experienced it already. Usually in smaller companies, you have this one guy being the farm manager or the person in charge on that particular farm, and then he's either going on vacation. Well, you can maybe manage that because that is happening on a regular basis. That you noted on sheets, and then he's entering the data after a week or after 10 days. He's always on call or available via phone. But if you already start sick leave, somebody's changing jobs, or somebody's just, well, going into being a pensioner and leaving just the industry, or a small crisis being, I don't know, something happening with the stock, then we already want to have something like that. And I would have been very happy as a young assistant farm manager to have something like that, because that just saves you a lot of work, a lot of learning, a lot of time that you could use for many other things if you're starting your career, or even if you start a new job. And also as an auditor, I understand that, because not everybody needs then to be present during an audit. You can just say, well, who is here? Who can show that to me? And most people will be able, if they can process the data, at least they can show you the records without any doubt and without any chance to manipulate. So I think that single point of truth is something that should be desired by everybody working on a farm.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that's really good point. And as we say, you can see in the picture on the right side of the screen, you can see a damaged cage. This is the farm that I was managing. In this cage, really, it was like, what we see here is kind of the smallest damage that I suffered in this particular storm. It was really one of the biggest storms that I've ever seen in my life. And, we had quite a lot of damages around there. But the thing is that the accurate traceability helped us with the insurance company with 2 or 3 clicks away to issue all the reports that they have to see. And, when they come and go to cage number 1, and then they find out that, okay, I need to see all the trace back and to understand where the fish are coming from, where did they go to, what is the source, and how many fish you started with, how many fish you ended with. When you have a good management system, a good farm management system, it is very easy to show the insurance company, okay, this is the trace, this is the track of the fish, this is what they did, and then you will have a better coverage, you will have a faster claim settlements, and it is easier for you to work with the insurance company, usually even, or maybe even reduce costs for the future, because it is doing a much easier job for them also to predict what's going on in the cages, what's going on at the farm. So it enhances the financial resilience. It is contributing to a more responsible aquaculture, and we are here to do good aquaculture, to do responsible aquaculture.
And when I think about that, I have in my mind not even that it should be very easy, or it should be quick. When I think about something like this happening to my farm, I would have 1,000 other things to do. And I wouldn't want to spend a lot of time in finding exactly the right sheet or doing exactly the right calculation. Maybe also from paper to a spreadsheet, adding numbers up, having another source of error, by the way. And you're under stress because you should be out and you should be doing something with your farm physically. You have a deadline usually running by the insurance that says, well, within a week, please provide us with your numbers, and otherwise that's it. If you provide too low numbers, if you provide too high numbers, both not good. But in this case, you're able at least to give something that is based on your data collection. I'm thinking also about again the authorities. Imagine you're in Norway, you have in a cage farm, something like this is happening, and we talked then about the number of escapees that you have to recover from the environment. Of course, you also want to reduce that to a minimum or to exclude it at all if you can prove that, for example, in this cage there was only minor number, or there was any small fish or big fish. So it helps you a lot in your argumentation and in making your point against anybody, environmentalists, anybody from the critical public that can ask question or that wants an information. You can deliver it. You're able to provide it, and you are able to base it on this data collection. So I like that very much, because it's not rocket science once you need it. It's in the beginning. It's maybe it takes maybe a little bit of time to set it up and to get into the routines for your team. But then it's there when you need it, and it's not the, how should I say, as you always have it with the paper, you know, the problem in your daily routine that you need to sit down, sign your papers or mark your mortalities. But with that, it should be pretty easy and pretty everyday work.
Yeah, I think it's not a nice to have, it's a must have. Really, I really think that a system that will help you to manage the farm is a must have, and I really like what you call the source of error. We need to reduce our sources of error, and this is a way to reduce the source of error. So yeah, very, very interesting. And I think if we look at this slide, so how traceability really works. We start. Okay, I say that once we have a good traceability, we can do many things. Okay, so it's both for the good traceability, and it's good for the auditors, and it's good also for the insurance, but it's more than that. It is in a way that I can say exactly where the fish are coming from. So I know with a good management system, with a good farm management software, I know everything about the broodstock, everything about what these small fingerlings ate, everything about the medicine they received, and then I transfer them to the grow out system. So I know again everything about their feed, everything about all the transfers and the splits and the merging and the grading and all around it. And then they will be sent to the packaging house and to the final customer. And the final customer can actually know everything backwards. And I will leave the floor here to Florian, because these two topics here is actually what Florian really do much better than me. So Florian, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so when I see this, it's I think the central point you find here in the bottom, it's compliance, meeting rules, and traceability, earning trust. Here, compliance is something like the minimum, the bare minimum of what you need to achieve. But if you want your auditor to be happy with what he sees, you shouldn't always reach the bare minimum. You should present yourself as somebody being in control and knowing what you're doing, knowing your farm, knowing your data, or if you don't know it by heart, you know where to look it up. And being also then able to present something as a how can I say that, as a sample, because what I do in my work is I do not look over your numbers completely. I will pick something out, and if that is incomplete, or if this is not in the format or in the volume that it should be, then I will ask more questions and we'll dig in deeper. So with a system like that, you be able to make me a lot easier, happy, or to satisfy my need for any information quicker, because then I see, okay, you know, they know what they're doing. It's there is no questions that are open. And what we see here, by the way, these labels, this is only one part of what I see when it comes to audits. Think about all, because that's third-party audits. So it's a label, it's an accreditation organization, and it's me as an auditor. It can only be just second or first-party audits. That means that one of your buyers, be it a wholesaler, be it any other form of client, pays you a visit and asks you these questions. And then you also want to be able to show them, okay, we know which feed the fish received, which treatment they received. Again, here, authorities, the veterinary is paying you a visit. And I mean, well, believe it or not, even though they are also public servants, they maybe also not be happy just to spend hours for you to get to have your numbers ready, because they have a very tight schedule. So they will also be happy if they get the numbers that they need in a very quick time and can move on. What I think also about here when I see this is it just a customer's complaint, so a final consumer that maybe found anything that shouldn't be into your product? But it could also be that in terms of any crisis, and I've done that when I was working in quality management or in fish farms, you always get questions back. And even though you're the main responsible person, you can't remember everything that you've done a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, even though, or might be before your time. And then you need to be able to answer these questions to trace it back into the history. And then you're happy if you can just say, well, at that time, this was the case. And that's the information. We didn't use this type of feed. We didn't use this type of treatment. The fish lived always under these conditions. And especially, this is the exact batch we're talking about, not another batch. So that you can really limit your answer without any maybe or without any perhaps or possibly. You can say that's the numbers we're talking about. So that's why I like this so much, and from both sides. So when I'm working in aquaculture and when I'm an auditor, I like the idea.
Yeah, and you know, one story from the water, one of the farms I was managing, we used to do an HACCP protocol. For whoever who knows this protocol, it requires from you to actually do an amazing traceability from head to toe or from toe to head. It depends how you look at it. And it was so much easier when you have a system that helps you with the traceability. So the auditor sits with me and he said, okay, now take the last 3 cages that you harvested this month, and let's take a look at them. Let's see what they did. So 3 clicks away, really 3 clicks away, you put in the right report, and he says, okay, amazing. Now I know everything. I don't need any more than that. But more than that, Florian, you just lifted it up for a quick volley, because the exact next slide here is talking about what happens with the end product. Okay, so really, it's amazing how a simple QR code can tell you a very powerful story of what happened with those fish. So imagine that once you have a good traceability, you can actually create for every batch of fish that is going out to the market, you can create a barcode, and this barcode, and you can screen these barcodes here, you can find maybe some interesting stuff around this. Imagine that you can put your fish in the market with a barcode, and the customer comes to the barcode and he can, the QR code, and he can screen the QR code, and okay, now I see that these fish, they are coming from this farm, and I see that they ate that feed, and I can also see that they have this and that protocol. So they are complying with the HACCP protocol and the ISO protocol, and wow, amazing, I want to buy this fish. And the next store has nothing. So you have a much more valuable fish standing in the store to be sold, which can be a much higher value in your pocket. So I really, again, I think it is a super powerful thing to do if you use the right systems for a good traceability.
Yeah, again, here I have to come to also source of errors, because we have with this QR code, we have I would say, quite a good chance in avoiding mistakes or reducing the probability of mistakes. If we think back in the old days, well, for some it's still the actual days. You have a batch code, or you have a any other type of code, and we all know at one point, whether you search for this code in your software, or whether you have to write it down on paper, there is always mistakes are going to happen, or you just don't write that properly and your colleagues don't know what you were writing down. And by something like this, you make it much easier to find your batch back, or to get your all your information that you wanted to see. Because yeah, again, here we are all human, we all make mistakes, but we should not make no mistakes. That's never going to happen. But we should try and not repeat our mistakes, or at least learn from others' mistakes. That's what I always try, because it's the cheapest.
Yep.
I think QR code that has maybe also some minor flaws, but that's a matter of technical maturation, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So thank you for that. I will go into a little bit more, let's say, professional technical points of view here. And I want to talk a little bit about how good data management will allow you to earn reliability against your stakeholders and owners. So once you have a good management, accurate real-time data collection, which is not only sensors, it's all the data that you are collecting. It's the feeding and the mortality and the sensors and the measurements and the samplings and everything all together. And you collect it in the right manner every day. It shouldn't take too much. Honestly, I think that if you have a good system, so data collection shouldn't take too much. It depends, of course, on the size of the farm, but I always say that for a 50 cage farm, it shouldn't take more than 15 to 20 minutes per day to collect and register and arrange all the data. And honestly, it's nothing. Now, if you do this and you are using smart analytics, which, today we are in 2025, almost 2026, AI becomes more and more efficient, stronger. Companies are developing smart tools. So if we collect all the data and we are using, we call it Smart Unit Alert. It's a tool that actually serves as an agent that is living inside the software, and every night he will screen all the farm. It will screen all the farm. In the morning, you will have the alerts only for what you want. I mean, and it shouldn't be a specific tool, okay? I'm talking about in general. You create a very sophisticated, simple tool that will run simple for the user, not simple for the building. Of course, the building requires some know-how, but for the user will have his report every day, and out of, I don't know, 50, 60, 80, 100 cages, he will take only the problematic cages that the system found out. So this cage has a seriously dangerous trend, and that cage was fed yesterday half of the quantity, and that cage has a very high mortality today. Please go ahead and check all these 3 cases. The other cages are fine. You shouldn't take care of them. if you have a tool like this, which is lying on the base of good, reliable, accurate data collection, so the result will be here. Less fish losses, better growth, more profit. And all of us here, we want it. Okay, so we monitor what matters. We monitor all the things that are matter to us as fish growers, but we do something with this. We create smart and intelligent report that will allow us to be better. And it will gain confidence for the stakeholder. It will gain trust with the insurance companies because they know that you are on it. They will know once you have good system, they will know that you are on the data and you are on the potential problems. And it's super important. And of course, it will also help you to bring your fish on time to the market and also on the right size because you will identify issues. So you won't, or you will, it's not that you won't have surprises because it's aquaculture and it's biology and you always have surprises. And this is partly why we love this profession, but you will reduce the surprises. And smart using of technology will reduce surprises. And again, it will help us to gain more trust in the system. Yeah.
Maybe you could say something about, well, one question that I'm asking myself is when I see this, I know it from the farm nowadays, we have automation, right? We have oxygenation, general oxygenation. We have different dosing, be it for disinfection ozone or be it pH. We have the feed. I think this is maybe the biggest part because the source of error is very big type of feed or quantity of feed. And it takes a lot of time and therefore money to have somebody who works responsibly. Now, when I hear all that, I think about, okay, for example, we have a scenario like drop in oxygen. That means usually first thing is that you receive an alarm. Second thing is you, as the guy in charge, you have to go to your feeding system and stop feeding. How would that look like in this case for you? Like, is that because nighttime, weekends, there is somebody who is always on call, but it also takes time and money then to bring these people to the farm, right? And investigating into the drop of oxygen is already delicate enough. So also investing more time and resources into stop feeding, actually, how would that work?
So I tell you, there are good questions and excellent questions. This is an excellent question because this is exactly what the next slide is talking about. So you see, when you use a smart system, I mean, the other part here is how to collect all the data and create smart and intelligent alerts. But as you, Florian, suggested, there are cases that you don't have the time to take a look at the alerts. I mean, when you look at the alert, it might be too late, and you might go back to the pond, and you see what we call a white pond because all the bellies are up. So you need systems that will help you to eliminate that and to avoid that. So, of course, our systems in that case, but I believe that not only our systems, but there are systems that okay, you put the oxygen measurement in the water. Okay, you have the sensor, a reliable one, a good one that you can.
I think we lost
that is
Nir.
collecting the data.
Nir, just a second. I think we lost you.
You lost me. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Shall I continue?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. So I say that, okay, we have a sensor that is in the water. And this sensor now is sending the data to a controller. This controller now is controlling both the aerators, the feeding system, everything that is connected to the strict life of the fish. So if the system is reliable, and once you build a reliable system, you can sit back in your house, you can sleep better, you can, I don't know, sit on the sofa and watch TV, and the system will work for you. Of course, you should, I mean, we grow fish, so we never really rest assured. But the thing is that once you have a reliable, good system that is robust enough, it will operate the farm, especially under emergencies. So the aerators will start working, or you will open oxygen valve, or you will close the feeding, or you will increase the water flow. You will do everything. The system actually will do everything possibly to reduce the stress of the fish, and hence to reduce losses first. But it's more than reduce losses. It's much more of a reduce the stress. So all the performances are better, the growth is better, and everything is happening in a much better and responsible way. And I think, Florian, this is yeah, sorry.
Don't forget the reduction in stress for the management and for the staff. Because also for you, you know, everybody who was on a call once and receives an alarm like that, and it's not because somebody maybe forgot to brush the probes or something, but it's, you know, it's this once in a lifetime event, and adrenaline goes up. You need to drive through snow or through floodings to your farm. You're very happy if you can manage the most necessary things already from remote. What I'm also thinking about in general about this remote access from an auditor point of view, it's you can do it because it's just convenient. You can also save you a lot of costs, by the way. And you're able also to have quite some spontaneous audits because no traveling involved, no booking involved, no little time involved, because you can call in as we are doing now. Lack of staff or lack of time, which we've just discussed, but also long distances. As for example, you have it in some regions in the world where I think about Ecuador, for example, shrimp farms there that are really somewhere in the mangroves, Southeast Asia, for example, as well. And also during times, as we remembered 5 years ago, you know, it wasn't that easy to travel and to move, but you still had to follow some types of processes, be it audits or be it just for internal checks of your farms. That would have been much more easy if everybody would have had systems like that. Or also, as we see currently in the world, conflicts in many regions. You know, you can't travel, you don't want to travel because it's not safe, but on the other hand, you want to make sure that that your farm is running well. So this is something that I think is also a big advantage.
And I also think that once you have a system like this, I know also from the field, from the ground, that insurance company will be much happier to insure your stock. And much happier, I mean, they will be willing to insure your stock rather than, okay, sorry, this one I won't insure, or else you will pay me tons of money, which won't be worth for you. So it also makes you be able to insure the stock in the farm. Now, having said that, we need to keep it practical at the end of the day. So first thing that I think is the almost most important thing is to train the team for data literacy. Data literacy, which means, guys, please understand what it means to collect good quality of data. Super important. Super. Once all the team know how to do this, believe me, you will have a much easier life. So after that, we collect the data, we identify the key risks. Once we understand which are the key risks, we know how to arrange the team, which data is more important, which corners are less important, but also the team will know it. And it is super important, as I see it, as a former farm manager and which work with many people. I think, guys, embrace the team, empower them, show them that they worth a lot, show them that you really trust on what they do, you really appreciate what they do, you really need them to do it better. Now, after that, we implement tools. It could be low-cost tool, it could be a little bit more expensive tool, but the thing is cost-effective tools that will allow you to sleep better. To sleep better at night, it is super important, not only for you, also for the fish. And sleep better means that the fish are safer. And at the end of the day, activate the solutions on real time.
Nir, I think we lost you again. Yes, I
Otherwise,
think Nir's connection is disrupted.
Should we maybe just move on with questions? Or is there another?
Yes, sorry, I'm here again, but please go ahead.
Hi, Nir.
Yeah, I'm here. No, but I've done, and please, yes. I'm
I think
sorry
if,
for this bad communication.
No worries. If Florian has to add anything in the last slide, he's nodding, so he doesn't. I would really like to thank both of you for this discussion. It was really insightful to talk about these things, especially the part with insurance risks and compliance and traceability. I think it's something that everyone should have their eye on. We are ready, everyone, to take your questions in the Q&A box. Be careful not to write them in the chat. Use the Q&A box instead. Until we have a question in there, I would really like to ask you a question, guys, which is really relevant to what you said. I would like you to know, I would like to know if you think about traceability, does it have to be seen as a regulatory requirement, or can it also become a competitive advantage for farms?
Florian, please go ahead, start.
Yeah, to repeat what Nir already said, with that compliance is, let's say, the minimum, and traceability, or good traceability, means earning trust. I think this should be the minimum, because that's the scarce resource that we're working with in our, I would say, in our very critical business, because there is nothing that is always that close to the edge of crisis and catastrophe as fish and seafood is. As somebody who also has been working in quality management, I know that it's you can go to the office every morning and you receive a bad email, or you know that there was a documentary on TV, and the next day will be pretty ugly, of what you need to work with. But then with a system like this, you can say, well, we can prove it all, what we've done. It's maybe not in your hand. It's maybe something that has slipped through somebody's hands before, but then you're able to trace it back and to say, well, this is why this wasn't our mistake. And even if it was your mistake, you can at least then definitely say, well, okay, we've traced it back. Yes, we did it. And it's not ending up in a big chaos with people always giving statements and kind of giving two different statements at the same day, because they need to roll back. So I think having your own company or your own operations in order is definitely something that everybody should aim for. And I think even the traceability itself that's an absolute minimum. I mean, you know what you've sold, when, and to whom, and where it come from. So
yeah, as it comes to me, I would really like to see this as a mandatory. I mean, I don't know how you can, if you take a look at it from the technical part, I don't know how you can grow fish without good data management. But I also don't know how the authorities allow the fish growers to grow the farm without a reliable data management system. Because, again, if me is acting as the authority, I want to have the ability to come to the farmer and tell him, okay, show me what happened with the fish. I want to see where it is coming from, because on one hand, it is very easy to contaminate and to put in all the residues in the world into the fish. So I want to have the ability to avoid it. I want to have the ability to trace it back. And on the other hand, as Florian said, it is also a very edgy sector, and we are always growing the fish, not always, but too many times we are growing the fish on the edge, and we are too close to the edge, and I want to be able to control it in a better way. And the only good way to control it is to have a good data management system.
Thanks, Nir. We have a question coming from Andrew Watts. How do you see AI or machine learning shaping the future of decision making in aquaculture, especially in traceability? I think this one is for you, Nir.
Yeah, so again, a very good question, because as I said, it is almost 2026, and AI, the speed that the AI is developing is something that we have never seen. And I can tell you that things are being developed. We are developing agents in our company. I believe that we're not the only one, but as I see it, not too far from now, you will have agents and helpers that won't be me. You won't have to call me. You will have your small helper somewhere helping you throughout the system. So it will be involved with a machine learning, because we are, okay, it starts with a machine learning because we collect a huge amount of data. Really, every day we collect a huge amount of data. And I don't know if who of you was in the former webinar that we held, but I said then, and I say it a lot, the hardest thing in aquaculture is the fact that, not like poultry or cows or sheep, there you can see all your animals. You put one camera, 10 cameras, 20 cameras, I don't care. You can see all the animals in a one shot. You can count them. You know what happens. You know who's sick. You know who's healthy. It is not easy, but it is relatively easy. In aquaculture, you basically know nothing. You don't know what happens under the water. And the huge amount of data that we are collecting, analyzed and being studied with the help of the machine learning, and then complied into the use of the AI with large language models, will help us to create systems that allow the fish growers to be much more confident, to feel much more confident, to feel much safer with encapsulating a huge amount of data that is being collected and served to you to solve problems. So I see it very quickly developed and helping us a lot to make better aquaculture.
Great, thank you very much, Nir. So if we don't have any other questions to be answered. And if you, Nir and Florian, don't have anything else to add on this topic,
I will
let me know.
start my screen share.
I would really like to thank you all for joining us today. We hope this discussion very useful, and potentially this might lead to some important actions within your organizations. If you'd like to continue the conversation or learn more about what we talked today, you will find in the chat the ways to contact us. And once again, thank you all. And we're going to see you soon in some next series that we're going to publish soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Florian. Thank you, Eleftheria, for coordinating it. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for the possibility. Yeah, it was a pleasure, as you said, Nir. Thanks.
Have a lovely afternoon, y'all. Bye.